Believe what you know from experience. Teachers and professors altogether are another story completely. They would preach, especially professors, would be failures in the real world. They don't know how to do anything. That's why they're college professors. They know a lot of stuff that they read in books and wrote papers about, but they've never gotten out there, done any job in any company, even parts listing. They've never done anything that bad. They've never even been janitors. They sit in their lofty ivory towers and tell you they give management courses and how to run a meeting and all that. They're just full of crap. They live in a fantasy land. The point again, think for yourself. Believe what you know to be true from experience. Office politicians and politicians know what you were taught and what you were brainwashed with, and that's how they control you. They manipulate you, make you feel guilty with whatever crap they're laying on you. Point, think for yourself. Believe what you know to be true from experience. I'll give you an example of office politics you can relate to. Who got that summer job you wanted? The guy whose dad who knew the brother of the store owner? Who got the best grades in college? Was it the guy who worked the hardest and did the best job? Or was it the guy who went to see the professor when he had office hours? How about the guy that joined the professor's church or club or charity or political organization? Hey, out here in the business world, it's far worse, but it's out here where you can make the big bucks out here. Money alone makes it possible for you to be the person who determines your future. You won't be a wage slave if you follow this book. Blunt fact, major corporations are able to pay big money you need so that your future is determined by you, not fate, and certainly not the 4 Ps. That's the only reason to work for a major corporation. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. Jim Rohn, business philosopher. I've just seen his name in print recently. I don't know who he is. I just like the quote. Nothing in this book has anything to do with improving society. I'm only interested in helping you, the individual, clearly see how the world, thus the corporate world, actually works. That knowledge that you're learning in this book enables you to make long-range career moves. If you don't understand how the world works, you're going to stick at the first company and just stay there forever. Later, when you're confronted with situations that powerfully impact your private life, understanding how the world actually works makes realistic choices possible in your personal life. In other words, you're going to get to hear some stuff that you weren't ready to hear. It's not all moonbeams and rainbows and unicorns. Nothing in this book has anything to do with that. I'm not writing about how to get ahead working for the government or a nonprofit company. The brand of office politics in government and nonprofits is exactly the same as in the United States Army. Blatant obsequiousness, brown-nosing, is concerned only with trivial pursuits. Since there are no stockholders to demand profitable operations, the only payoff for working for a nonprofit or a government job, I use a 25-cent word here, I can't even pronounce it, self-aggrandizement. I don't know, why did I write that? I can't even say it. The only way to move up is to kiss up. That's the short version. Office politics at nonprofits and government jobs where score is not kept with money. Score is kept with, does the boss like you or doesn't the boss like you? That's all that counts in those jobs. Nonprofits are make work, not make money. No money can be had at nonprofits unless you happen to know someone on the board. Then this book is not needed. He can hire you today for $80,000 if you know somebody on the board of a nonprofit. And then I put in italics, attention, it is wise to take a brief side trip to a nonprofit to get a substantial raise. Return to a big corporation and command an even larger salary. See, once you're making a certain amount of money, nobody will offer you less. So the idea in office politics, and we're going to get to getting raises, is the more you make, the more they'll pay you. There's a whole story in there about Mansell IV. My brother-in-law's father-in-law told me when I was 22 how to make money quickest in a corporation. I followed his advice and I was able to live life on my own by my own rules, the way I wanted to at 35 years old. I started at 25 out of the Army. 10 years, I made enough money to go to grad school and do what I wanted to do, which is to be a therapist, not sit at a desk and move paper from this pile on the middle, do something to it, and put it over there. That's what most jobs are, you know, paper pushing. These corporations are so filthy rich, they can lose $23.3 billion as GM did in '92. Then proving everything in this book, they almost went bankrupt in 2009, and they would have if the government hadn't saved them. I was against that. Let them sink, let them drown. But no, they saved them. Big but major corporations are the only organizations that can pay $80,000 a year to people under 30. They're the only ones that can pay $180,000 to you when you're 37. Big companies are the places where you can make the most money fast enough so that you're the person who decides how to spend the rest of your life when you're young enough to enjoy your life. That's key. I have some friends that are still working at Beckerel. I left there in '75 and they're still there. Poor bastards. But they made a choice. The other thing you're going to learn from me is that every choice or non-choice has a price. If you decide to stay at the company, there's a price for that. If you decide to leave the company, there's a price for that. Oh, here it is on the first page of the next chapter. Everything you want has a price. There's a price to pay if you want to make things better, a price to pay if you just want to leave them alone. There's a price for everything. It's Harry Browne. One of the books I recommend, but it's not on the list to buy at successinbusiness.org, is How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. Harry Browne, Browne. Harry Browne, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. He's explaining that and a whole bunch more in that book. It's a wonderful book, changed my life. And here's a proverb that Nathan, the therapist I trained with, and my personal therapist till I got my act together, he had it made into one of those samplers like my grandma had on the wall. You know, those little things, and they're knit, and the sayings knit into them, and they have decorations around them. The saying says on that sampler, and Nathan's wall said, "Take what you want and pay for it, saith God." Spanish proverb. Take what you want and pay for it, saith God. Spanish proverb. That applies to everything. Everything. Got to pay the price. Okay, before you get the book, I'm going to warn you, it's brutally realistic. Brutally honest. I don't like to pull punches. I don't like to tone things down. I like to tell it like it is because that's the way I like people to talk to me. Tell me the truth. Don't bullshit me. Don't candy coat it. Give it to me. Tell me what's going on. I'll figure it out from there. Now, if that's not you and you want it handed to you gently, there's billions of books on office politics. Let me warn you that the ones written by women are usually trash, junk, because they didn't make it in the corporate world, so now they're English majors, so they get out and they write a book about office politics. And it's not, nobody's copied anything from my books in their own books on office politics. They copied my other books into their books of self-help psychology, but they don't touch this one. They don't like the truth in here. At 22, you may believe business people wear nice clothes, travel in style, eat in fine restaurants, own prestigious cars, and live a glamorous, exciting life. Articles and ads in GQ and Playboy are behind the ideas of yours. Commercials for American Airlines, Sheraton, Hertz reinforce this belief. You probably believe in and trust the company you work for. Most likely you think the corporation will be honest, kind, and fair with you as I once did. Then in very medium-sized type, it says, this book is about how the system really works. For 35 years, I beat the system. But then I figured out the biggest secret when I was very young. Hint, to avoid getting frustrated and angry, read the preface.